everyone. Welcome to the Sally Allen podcast. This podcast is a platform for people to share their stories of resilience. We believe that sharing your stories help with healing and empowering, but not only that, we believe that it helps other people to let them know that they're not alone in their struggles and with what they're going through. There are other people out there with similar stories. Today, I'm really excited to introduce our guest and my soul sister. I said soul sister because we're both 4 feet and we're not going to say how many inches tall. And my friend Iris. And the question of the podcast today is, how do you go from living in fear to becoming this fierce mama bear? And I'm really excited for her to share her story of resilience with us today. Iris?
Hello. Thank you for having me here.
I love having you, yes.
Let's get going.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Well, what are you sharing with us today?
Everything.
Everything. Okay, start from the beginning.
So I have a soon-to-be 3-year-old son. His name is Salvador. And perfect name because he came to save my life. I was in a 6 years relationship with a very narcissist, toxic man. Everything started in 2015 when he lost his arm, and it went downhill from there.
Wow.
I thought I was ready to leave in 2017, which I did. Got my own apartment. I thought, yay, I'm doing this by myself.
Yeah.
And no, I got pregnant. My son's father said, thank you so much. Bye. So my ex came along and he painted the picture. It was so pretty. So I said, yeah, sure, why not? We'll move together again. And this time it's going to be better.
Yeah.
And you're not going to act crazy. You're not going to hit me. Why not? So I ended my lease earlier than expected. And I moved back in. I'm pregnant. I told him, I don't know if you're the father, or the other guy, I'm sorry, things happen. And he said, it's okay, we'll figure it out as the time goes by. Well, I'm already probably like 6 months pregnant, and he's been drinking already a lot, pushes me down, and I'm in the shower, so I fall down. That kept going for months. Then I had my son. My son was staying in the NICU for a week. Due to medical conditions he had when he was born, which it was very hard on me. So, what do you call that? Postpartum depression hit really hard. And that's when he started being more aggressive because he thought it was bullshit. So he would say, just shut the F up and, go cry in the room and I don't want to hear you and blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, my son is 6 weeks old and we traveled to Mexico, where we said we were going to go to dinner, and it was the first time I left my son with his parents, well, with anyone. So dinner turns into drinks turns into bar hopping, and I want to go home to breastfeed my son. But he doesn't want to go home. So I kept saying, let's go home, let's go home. Fast forward, he busted my lip open to tell me to shut up. In the middle of TJ, which is crazy out there. If you've never been, it's crazy. You don't want to be out there by yourself with a busted lip. So I run, and then he comes and picks me up, gets me in the car. We get to his house, his parents, whatever they tell him. And the next day, we're going to a restaurant as a family and going to eat. I can't eat. My lip is busted. I get an infection 2 days later, so we go to Mexico, doctor. They pay him certain money, to not ask me questions. And I was told to tell a story that at 2 a.m. I was going to make a bottle and came downstairs and missed a step and fell. But I started saying that story so much that I started believing it. So, my aunt, which is like my mom and my cousins, they were like, hey, what's going on? Oh, no, I fell. I had doctor's appointment for my son. He was only 6 weeks old. You keep going to the doctor. And I kept saying that I fell and I fell and I fell. And when I got back, that's when I started planning how to escape. And it wasn't going well.
Yeah.
So I tried to plan my escape after we came back, and I got caught. So then that just turned him more into aggressive,
Yeah.
more controlling. And I just wanted to leave, so everything was control. I couldn't leave, he threatened me a bunch of times with my son's life. So I was scared. I'm not going to leave if you're going to hurt my son. Like,
Yeah.
no mom was going to say, yeah, okay, bye. Try to hurt me. So fast forward, my son was born in June, of 2019. So in 2020, he had filed already for custody, an eviction notice. He filed in January of 2020, but didn't give me the paperwork until March. That's how psycho he is, because he was planning everything. So he sends me out shopping like he always did. Every time he beat me up, he would just shut me up and go shopping. I thought that was okay,
Yeah.
And March of 2020 comes, and he calls me and tells me while I'm shopping that come and meet me for dinner. So I show up. But when I show up, he comes out of the bar, starts recording me, starts telling me that I'm harassing his peas and that we're not together. But yet we live in the same house. So he called the cops.
He
I
set
took
you
off.
up. He
yeah,
set you up.
I took off, and then I'm on Blue Diamond and that In and Out. And the cops pull me over, and they tell me, hey, we got a call that you're disturbing his peace, blah, blah, blah. And I show them proof that I lived there. Like, where am I going to go? Like, we live there. Anyways, I come back. He's extremely intoxicated. His friend knocks on the door. But by this time, I'm already sleeping in my son's nursery room for months. And his friend knocks on the door, and because I say yes, while my ex is recording the whole situation, I say yes. So in video, I accepted that it was me. So he throws me and tells me, you've been served. So I get on the phone, and I call my cousin. She lives in California, and she's like, I will be over there. And I'm like, by the time you come here, it's 4 hours later, girl. Like, I need to leave now.
Yeah.
And she tells me, pack whatever you need just for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about the clothes. Don't worry about anything, And then I call my best friend, and I tell him, hey, it's time for me. I need to get somewhere. And he's like, come to the house and pick up the key. This is going to turn bad. And in my head, I'm like, it's not going to turn bad. He's just going to pass out because he's so drunk.
Right.
No. So he starts pushing at me. I start screaming, all these crazy things. And then I go to the bathroom. My son's sleeping. So I go to the bathroom, and I try to call 911 because he's already going crazy, breaking things in the house and everything. And he flushes my phone in the toilet. So 911 calls you back, by the way.
Right.
Like, they just don't say, okay, bye. No, they call you back. Like, hey, are you okay? So they call me back, but I couldn't answer. My phone is messed up. So all this is going on, and my cousin's calling me, and she's like, grab your passport, grab his birth certificate. And I already had planned to escape, that I had like a scrunchy little thing for the keys, and I put it in my ankle, the spare key of the car. Because if he asked me for the key like he has many times before, I was going to give him the key, but I still had another key to take off. In my head, I was just going to tell him, I'm just going to go for a walk.
Yeah.
But no, I was going to escape. And when I opened the door, when I opened the door, because he's banging and screaming, he has his head open. And I'm like, what did you do? So he's like recording me. Stop hurting me. Please stop hurting me. He's like 6 feet tall, 245 pounds, maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's screaming at me to stop hitting him. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and he's like calling the cops, telling them that I did this, blah, blah, blah. I got arrested. Yeah. And I got served with the restraining order in jail and all this great stuff that they give you, because I didn't have no evidence that I was hurt, but he did.
Right.
So somebody has to go to jail, and it was me. Then he called CPS on me because he was scared for his life.
Wow.
Yeah. So I go to jail, and then the restraining order is lifted, and he kept calling me all that time. We go to court. I show the evidence that he called, so they lifted, whatever. Fast forward the next day, I still waited because I'm like, I'm not going to go pick up my son right now when he has a son too. So I'm going to wait for him to drop him off to school, because I know he was going to act crazy.
Right.
And then I'm going to go get my son. My son hated the car seat, by the way. I think every baby does. Yeah. And I go, and he's like telling me, no, you can come in, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, just let me look at the baby, la, la, la. My cousin had my car loaded with cameras because we knew something was going to happen. Like, he was not just going to give me the baby just to give me the baby, you know. He's crazy. So my cousin stand by, because she drove from California 5 hours to come and rescue me. And we were literally hoping for the worst, because that was going to happen.
Right.
So I get in, I put the baby, and I tell him, Sal, we're going to get out, and we're never coming back. Yeah. And he just looked at me, and I swear that he looked at me like, it's okay, Mom, I got you.
How old was he by then?
He was 8 months old.
Oh.
So I put him in, and I still can hear the clicking of the car seat.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's just looking at me, and then I grab him, and I literally just went like, you know, like, God be with me. Yeah. And I'm coming out, and he's in the garage with his mom. And he's like, no, where are you going? And then I feel a slap in my face, but that was the mom.
Oh, wow.
So if I would have react, I'm letting go of the baby. And he's like, just give me the baby. Like, his obsession was the baby. Like, nothing else.
So that's why he was making the videos, and he was doing all that to get custody of the baby.
Right. Well, that's before. It's been 3 years, and he still makes TikToks about me. Oh. You know, he must love me so much. And then, well, that happened, right? So then I'm thrown in the rocks by the front of the house. And I'm screaming at my cousin to come and help me. But by that time, she's already calling 911.
Yeah.
So he's just like, give me the baby. Just give me the baby. The mom is saying, just give us the baby. And I'm like, no, I'm the mom. Like, it's not a pair of shoes I'm going to give to you, you know, and move on. So I knew at that second, if I let go of that baby, I'm done. Mm. So I put the car seat handle around my neck. And when I re-watched the video, I wasn't running, I was walking. Mm-hmm. But in my head, I was running fast, but I wasn't. I was just pacing, you know? And I grabbed him by the head, and I told him, we're never going to look back to this moment. I promise you. And he was just looking at me like, and then, boom, I got hit here, my shoulder, my ribs, all over. My whole face on this side was busted. He dragged me down. He kept hitting me, let go of the baby, let go of the baby. Then we rolled down on the pavement.
Oh, my gosh.
And when my son was born, he wasn't breathing. And I remember exactly the face he was making. And that day, while all that was happening, my son made the same face.
Oh, my gosh.
So the fear in me, and my son wasn't responding. He was just going, I was like, no. So I don't know why. In that moment, I just put my thumb, and he started sucking on it. Oh. And then my cousin called the cops, whatever, you know. Big thing happened. I had a restraining order for a year. He violated every single day. He kept calling, texting, like telling me so he would start nice, but because I didn't respond it, he would go on. He would send me videos that he was with somebody else. It doesn't stop. Yeah. It's just, he just bad in the head. He makes TikToks about it, you know, and he makes TikToks of how to be a gentleman, how to treat a woman, how he's teaching his son how to be a gentleman. We don't hit women. No, we don't. I just think, you know, that's my reasoning of me speaking up, because we see all this men in social media, and we're so thinking that they're the best, that they deserve, oh, poor guy, that girl did him wrong. It could be the other way too. You know, I've been going to a lot of, you know, domestic violence meetings, and men go through it a lot, and a lot of men don't speak up because they're friends or anything. But we're in 2022. Yeah. So everybody should be speaking up. Like, don't stay quiet. It doesn't matter if you're a girl or boy. Yeah, yeah. Whatever you define yourself, you can't allow that to happen. And after that, I told myself I would never be in a relationship like that.
Good for you.
So then I did the healing process, you know, 1 year to heal from everything that I went through. Right. And the second year to love myself. And I'm in the third year, and I kind of want to go dating, and then I'm like, nah. You want attention, affection? Now.
No. Because I see
Yeah.
you focus a lot on your son now.
Yeah, everything is, it involves on him. Like,
Yeah.
everything, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what I will, a lot of parents I always hear them like, I don't know what I would be doing without you, you know? But I honestly know that if, I can assure you that if he wouldn't have touched my son, if my son wouldn't have been hurt, I would have been back 100%.
Yeah.
Because the narcissist of personalities like him, they make you believe like, where are you gonna go? You don't have your family. You don't even talk to
Yeah.
your family.
Yeah.
They don't love you. Where's your mom?
Yeah.
She wasn't even here. Like, she's never been here. She's never been around your dad. And then back then, like myself and many relationships, you open up to your past with the person that you're in love with,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then they throw that to you
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're mean. That's not what a nice person does. You don't throw it up to them, you know?
Yeah. So the question we started with, how do you go from living in fear to becoming this fierce mama bear? It's your son propelled you to actually take action because your ex hurt him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine what that felt like.
I think it was not only the fear of him, the fear of what was I gonna go. I haven't been working for 3 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
I stopped working right on my pregnancy.
Right. Right.
So where was I gonna go? And then the way that he would talk to me, like, look at you, how you look now, your body, this and that, it just was dragging me down. Where was I gonna go?
Yeah.
Who was gonna take care of my baby if I started working?
Right. Right.
Like, all of these things started playing in my head. I mean, I started working at Blue Martini for a few days on the weekends, because he started saying it. But now everything makes sense. He wanted me already to start making my own money because I was going to get out of the picture sooner or later.
Right. Right.
And thank God for that.
Yeah.
But then COVID hit, and then I didn't work,
Right.
But, I mean, my son, they had called the ambulance before when I was working because he swallowed a tag. And I wasn't notified. I found out from his son because he called his first baby mama and let her know. Like, okay, why would you call your baby mama and the other baby mama, not me? Oh, because she lives next door. Okay. Like, you know, things like that. But yeah, it was not just, like I said, not the fear, only the fear of him with me.
Yeah.
It was the fear of, where was I going to go? How was I going to start? Who was going to watch the baby? I don't have a car. Like, where am I going to go live? Because everybody's so easy. I'm going to tell you, if you ever need anything, call me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I did call. I did knock, and nobody opened it. And I actually thank you, if you guys are watching this, thank you for not opening the door.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't understand a lot of things back then.
Yeah.
Of why nobody was there. And my big circle of friends turned into nothing. And you have like 1,000 friends on Facebook, and you start messaging everybody, and they're like, well, if right now, the soft boys. And, I do think the person that took us, he took over everything. Like, I owe him my life.
Yeah.
And my son, because we didn't have to be struggling. I went and we stand in the bank, food banks, and the diaper banks, and the wipes banks, and they only give you a packet a week.
Yeah.
And you got to go back the next Monday.
Yeah.
It's not easy. But when I thought I had it all, because I thought I did had it all.
Yeah.
I think I lived a very comfortable life with this person financially. But that doesn't, and I think that's why Latinas stay.
Yeah.
Because the man is the provider, and how dare you going to just leave when he has been working his butt off and you just take off. But people don't know the backside of the story.
Right.
So we stay. We stay quiet, and we stay there. But yeah, thankfully for my son, I left. It was a scary process, no lie, but
It is a scary process. You read my book, and my story is quite similar, that we don't sometimes stand up for ourselves.
yep.
Yeah. And then our little angel comes along, and they basically literally saves us.
Which it was crazy because for the longest, I was trying to have a kid with him. For the longest. I mean, I was married at 18, got divorced at 23, and I couldn't have a baby. And then I got with this guy, I couldn't have a baby, and then get with my son's father. And in a month, 2 months, I'm pregnant. Hello.
It's
But
strange how that works.
I remember that day we were all sitting down in FaceTime because it was COVID, and then they did the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And then my aunt was like so happy and jumping. And no lie, I was sad. My dumb me was still sad. And now I thank God. Thank God you're not the father.
Yeah,
Because I will have to see you for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And my aunt told me, don't let the love mess you up in the head.
Yeah.
Because those two sometimes don't communicate.
Yeah. The heart and the head. They
Yeah,
don't
you know.
communicate.
Yeah. And then we fight with each other.
Yeah.
Now, so yeah, thankfully he wasn't the dad. Because gosh, imagine if I had to see him for the rest of my goddamn life.
Yeah. So walk us through the healing process. What would you share with our listeners about the healing process, and how can someone, how did you get healing through all of this?
He gave everything away. Everything we ever got from my son, he gave it away for free to anybody that wanted it, knowing that I was in need. But I told myself, if I stay quiet, they're not going to help me. How are they going to know?
Right.
So I started speaking up. I started putting it on Facebook mom groups that I needed help. Whoever had a crib, clothes, toys, food, anything.
Right.
I started cleaning houses. So it was helping me, like, just cleaning the music out loud in my head, you know. And it worked. I'd still clean houses if you need me. And speaking up. And then I started looking for groups for women with domestic violence. And I started going.
Yeah.
And I started meditating a lot.
Yeah.
And then I met Josh. And Josh told me, well, why don't we go to What's My Story? And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then the time came. And I honestly thank that time that came. Because literally that moment I went, and it was lunch break. I called my boss. I told her I was going to quit. And I gave her 30-day notice. 30 days. Like, people give 2 weeks. I gave 30 days. Not knowing what I was going to do. But I told myself, I can't live out of a $10 job. I was driving a big old truck that was eating all the gas. And that was on Eastern and Sunset.
Yeah.
And I live in Las Vegas with my friend.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do this. And how was I going to raise my son?
Yeah.
I like nice things from Ross. And I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And the ambition inside of me, I was like, no way. I have to do something else.
Yeah.
So I just started reaching out for more help and asking, are you hiring? And I always listen to this motivational speaker, Les Brown. He will always go and call this place if they were hiring. And they finally gave him a job because he was there every day.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe somebody got fired yesterday. So that was me.
Yeah.
And I knew in my head what I wanted to make.
Yeah.
And to provide for my son.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be living in somebody's living room.
Yeah.
Then I upgraded to somebody's bedroom. I rented a bedroom. That didn't sound right? And I rented a bedroom, and then we outgrown that bedroom. It's just me and my son.
Yeah.
So we need a bigger space. And then I worked for another company, and the money was great, and I rented a very expensive apartment. I don't know why. But that was my motivation.
Right.
And then this year, I told myself I need to downgrade from that big apartment and luxury living. Downgrade. I went to live in downtown for half of the price because I want to buy something for my son.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I don't set myself those goals, and all my goals are for him.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, like, I have a reason in life, which is me.
Yeah.
But now I have a child that depends on me, what I do. He watches me all the time.
Yeah.
So if I say one silly thing, he's going to go and repeat it. How am I going to tell him, don't say that when I say that 27 times a day?
Wow.
But he's my role. Like, the definition, I think, of the mama bear, it never clicked on me until I told myself I was going to leave him regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
So I took a beating.
I just get goosebumps again thinking about that. Like, once you realize the definition of mama bear, that I'm sorry, but just thinking about you with that baby carrier around your neck and running, it's just like, it's such a powerful picture to paint of being that mama bear. Because I can so relate to it, and you doing that. And then listening to you today, telling your story, and we can actually laugh about it, tells me that you've come so far with your healing process.
Yeah, I actually had therapy yesterday.
Yeah.
I've been going to her for 7 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she knows everything from the get-go. And
Yeah.
she told me, like, I'm very proud of you.
Yes.
And I tell that to myself. Sometimes people think I'm crazy. Well, the ones that were my friends, like, oh, this crazy
Yeah.
girl, she's never going to become nothing. She's never going to be a speaker. She's never going to have a podcast. She's never going to have anything. And it's okay. But every day I do tell myself
Yeah.
how proud I am of myself.
Good for you.
And when I
You
go to
should be.
bed,
Yes.
I tell the same thing to my son.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for him, I don't know what would happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the next girl. Oh, the boyfriend killed her and killed the baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Iris, I am so proud of you. Like, I watch your journey on social media, you know. I stalk you.
I stalk you too.
But I am, and hearing your story before and hearing it again, and you didn't talk much about the healing journey when I heard it, but hearing you talk about it, it is so inspiring, and I know you're going to do big things, and you're going to inspire so many women. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Yes.
Yeah, you got this. So I want to know, how is Sal doing?
He's doing, so Sal was diagnosed with autism.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of that hit that he took when he was 8 months old, he's having a little complications. So we're trying to work that out. We can't fix it. It's there now. So we will have to just learn to go with it.
Yeah.
So I used to take him to get haircuts, but my son has a little scar. So it doesn't matter how long, or if it was just yesterday, or if it's been 3 years or 10 years, I think it's always going to hurt me.
Yeah.
Because I have never sat down and talked to his dad and tell him exactly what happening when he heard it.
Right.
Something triggers him, you know, and some men don't show emotion, but I got a text after that of how they feel, or, you know, friends. And it sucks because just a simple haircut, I'm not there yet to go do it.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me that that's what I did that cost him that. And I could have avoided that. I could have left before.
Yeah.
But things happen for a reason. I couldn't get pregnant, like I said, for many years.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a mom. I manifested so bad. I wanted to be pregnant by 30. And by 30, I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So, you know, I always think that things work in a mysterious way for a reason.
Yeah.
And he had to be born in order for Iris to be brave enough and basically be reborn, because I had chains that I've been carrying from my past with my family and a lot of things. And I wasn't ready to let go until my son was born. I said, I'm not taking that with me. I'm not raising my son with that drama. I'm not raising my son with that environment.
Yeah.
If you want to be there, you will be there. If you don't want to be there, don't even worry. We don't need you. If we don't see you, we don't need you.
Right. Right.
And that's how I've been these last 3 years.
Yeah. And it's evident in your life and the way you're living.
Yeah, now I'm scared of dating because they all show a nice face on social media and Tinder or everything else, you know? And then you meet him and it's like, no. Like,
So what's a takeaway today for our audience?
My takeaway is my goal in life. So my goal in life is to have a nonprofit organization for domestic violence for Latina women. I feel and I know that there is a lot of Latina women out there that are abused. And abuse doesn't have to be that you're putting your hands on someone.
Yeah.
You know, you can bring somebody down to depression, to suicidal, to anything.
That's right.
Mental illness from abuse, verbal abuse. And I want to reach out to all the Latina women to speak up.
Yeah.
Because me as a Latina, you can say what happened to you, whether you were a child, grown up, a mom, in a relationship. You can say it because, oh, what are your tias going to say? Your cousin.
Right.
You
right.
just got to be quiet and move on. And the man is a provider, you know, he's working all day and you have 5 kids. So where are you going to go? And that is the biggest thing that I get. Last week, I got a message from a girl that I never seen in my life, but she found me on my second Instagram where I've been trying to post more about awareness. And she reached out to me and she needed help. But that was her thing. Where was she going to go without 2 kids? So I'm like, when was the last time you worked? Do you have a car? Like,
Yeah.
where the outsiders are so easy to tell you, just leave.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
so dumb for staying there, but you don't even know what's going on. What if
Right.
she's being threatened? Yeah,
Right.
what is she going to feed her son? Everybody says, like I told you earlier, call me. You call and nobody answers.
Nobody answers. Yeah. Yeah.
So there has to be something, and I feel that the system also has to step up because I called many times before. So obviously when they show up, they're like, oh my gosh, it's Iris again, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of things, I mean, I can go on and on, but we don't have time.
Yeah.
But a lot of things happen because system fails you. So where are you going to go?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I drove the girl to the shelter and there was no space. You got to be in a list. Okay, so you already got the woman out of the house. Now you're going to go take her back?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
now he's more angry. Like, look at what happened to me. The 72 hours that they put you in jail, it triggers them more.
Yeah.
The anger boils up more. And then you get sent back to that person.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for you to start that nonprofit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would ask, I haven't asked this before on this podcast, but pray for healing for Sal's head.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, please pray for healing for Sal's. And, you know, one of the things, Iris and I, our stories are similar. And I think once we made that decision to leave, that's it. That's when we were reborn and our lives changed.
Yes.
So that's one way. I know it's hard, as we said. You just don't get up and go. And
Oh, yeah, I get nervous
Yeah.
right now, like if I'm leaving right now.
yeah, I know. Just
You know?
talking about it, I
Yeah,
totally
my
get
hands
it.
sweat.
We
you
still
know.
have PTSD from
Yeah.
it. I totally get that, and it's been almost 30 years for
Yeah.
me. We still have PTSD. Friends, please pray for Iris and pray for Sal and for healing for his head. And thank you for listening to our podcast. Iris, thank you for coming. We thank Sticky Paw Studio for recording our podcast. And if you like our podcast, rate, review, and share with your friends.
Definitely. Share, share, share.